Nice to meet you, Mr. President.
Welcome to Nairobi. Very happy to have you with us. Ma'am?
Nice to meet you.
Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah? Please. How are you?
Good, Hungary and ambassador. And myself. Smaller would just let me just go. The leader of my office.
Pleasure.
Leader of my foreign affairs. Foreign affairs. Leader of the press. Office. Special advisor.
Pleasure.
Head of the secretariat.
Great pleasure.
Advisor.
Wonderful.
to applaud you for the role you played recently as a chief patron in the recently concluded Planet Budapest 2021 Sustainability Expo and World Conference, in which Kenya was represented. And this conference, I believe, joins other worthy causes that are helping us work towards climate action in response to climate change. With regard to our region, let me just take this opportunity to inform you that regional peace and security remain the fundamental basis of our foreign policy engagements, because it is deeply intertwined with our sustainable development as a country. I want to reaffirm our commitment to further enhance and widen the scope of investments, even though global trade, unfortunately, over the last 2 years has been suppressed as a result of COVID-19. But we strongly believe that by working together, we can not only build back better, but improve and even expand and explore new areas, again, as we've been discussing in my office. Areas that have great potential for both our two countries, and where I think Kenya can benefit greatly from some of the experience that Hungarian firms have had, especially in the agricultural sector, as we were just discussing. Let me also just say, under Tide Aid, we want to express support and gratitude for the $50 million that has been extended towards Kenya's development agenda under Tide Aid, and this is encompassed within the Joint Economic and Technical Cooperation to fund innovation in healthcare, agriculture, education, water, and sanitation. And indeed, to the Minister of Finance, I must state that the President has also made it very clear to me that he is quite concerned by the fact that we have made very little progress in terms of our utilization of this resource, and yet we have so many different areas that would greatly benefit from this kind of support. So I want to urge you to expedite the utilization of these resources that have been made available courtesy of the people of Hungary. So I want that noted, Minister, yeah? That is a matter you should take up with great urgency. We also appreciate your support towards the advancement of health, the establishment, and we would like to see how we can work together, again, through that facility, through the Ministry of Health, for the establishment of a cancer management center and a mother and child programs that I believe will contribute immensely to the progress towards our goal of universal health care. We also, in the same field of health, have other critical planks that can also benefit greatly in terms of capacity building in research, development of diagnostics, therapeutics, and vaccines for emerging as well as current diseases, and also exploring areas of cooperation in the manufacture of medicines and other healthcare consumables, facilitating our health systems for health security and enhanced biodiversity. We also appreciate that during this period of COVID-19, Hungary's commitment to enhance collaboration under the Visegrad Group, and we welcome strategies to enhance partnership in the region, particularly to support economic and social recovery. I take this opportunity to once again reiterate our key interest in attracting and inviting Hungarian enterprise to look into agribusiness, irrigation, slaughterhouse technologies here in Kenya, where we can work in partnership, not just for the Kenyan market, but for the wider East, Central, African market, as well as the Middle East and Asia. These are areas I believe that we could really work together on. On climate change, let me say that we are continuing to grapple with the challenges posed by climate change, and these pose a significant threat for our future development. We in Kenya have over the years shown leadership and championed the use of renewable energies. Our journey to 2050, as a country, we intend to fully unlock the potential for renewable energies, which we believe present a huge investment opportunity across technology value chains. And this on the back of the fact that as a country, already clean energy accounts for approximately 90% of all our electricity supply. And we expect that this contribution will increase to 100%, so that by the year 2030, Kenya's total electricity needs will come from clean sources. We believe that this will give us an opportunity to strengthen the long-standing bilateral relations between our two countries, a partnership that is founded on shared values, shared aspirations, and driven by our desire for sustained growth and prosperity for our two countries. We know with appreciation that Kenya and Hungary have enjoyed these warm and cordial relations for over 50 years. And it is also important to note that Hungary was the 6th country to recognize and to establish a mission in Nairobi in 1964 when we achieved our independence. We as a country are very keen to have a firm footprint in Central and Eastern Europe. And as we have been discussing with you, Mr. President, we are indeed very keen to establish a diplomatic mission and presence in Budapest, and this we hope will happen at the earliest opportunity, with a view not only of deepening our own cooperation, but also to serve as a gateway to what is increasingly becoming a very significant and important part of the world. Let me also note with much appreciation that the government of Hungary has offered to increase the number of scholarships that you are offering our students under the Stipendium Hungaricum program, that you've increased the number of students from 100 to 200 per year. This is indeed most welcome and a way of strengthening our people-to-people relationships and also deepening Kenya-EU partnerships as well. There is going to be a number of memorandum of understanding for cooperation that will be signed during your state visit. And we also note that this will also help drive trade and investment that is going to be key to the cooperation between our two countries. And this was formalized when we had the signing of the bilateral economic cooperation agreement in 2008.
A kollégák együtt, akik nagy érdeklődéssel szerettek volna részt venni természetesen a 4 szem közti.
For the benefit of my staff and all the others who I'm sure showed keen interest to participate in the tete-a-tete that they didn't,
Nagy hiányérzet nem maradjon bennük.
so that they don't have a very deep sense of loss.
Csak néhány ponton megerősítem azt, amit elnök úr az imént mondott.
Let me just reiterate with a few words what you have said, President.
De először is szeretném megköszönni a megértésüket.
First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to you for your kind understanding.
Hiszen igaz, hogy önhibánkon kívül, de kétszer el kellett halasztani korábban ezt a látogatást.
Truth be said, it wasn't any of our doing, but we were forced to postpone our trip on 2 separate occasions.
Multilateralism is something that we in Kenya strongly believe in as being the most effective mode of international cooperation to address global challenges. Kenya and Hungary have continued to cooperate in various multilateral issues, both at regional and international levels. And we underscore the fact that we really appreciated the support extended by Hungary during the elections for the non-permanent seat at the UN Security Council for the 2021-2022 period. And we look forward to cooperating together with you in this particular area and supporting each other as we vie for various positions in global bodies. I want to emphasize, and it indeed has been brought to my attention, that our 2 missions in New York have worked very closely together, especially in the development of the SDGs. Ambassador Macharia, our permanent secretary, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who was the ambassador, worked very closely, as you were mentioning to me, with your ambassador, who is currently seeking the position of President of the Security of the UN General Assembly. So Macharia, you need to ensure you work well and make sure your friend gets the seat. Yeah? That's the position, yeah. With regard to the East African Community and EU cooperation, we underscore that Kenya and Hungary are also connected through cooperation with the European Union. Hungary is an important member, and we request you to lend greater support through the European Union programs and humanitarian and political and policy dialogue to strengthen this partnership between the EU and the East African Community, emphasizing the need for stronger trade and investment cooperation, which I believe will be the defining pillar of not only our bilateral but also our regional ties in the days and years ahead. So we also seek your support as Hungary to have the economic partnership agreement between the East African Community and the European Union concluded and signed at the earliest opportunity with a view to opening up greater trade and economic opportunities for our 2 countries and our 2 regions. Let me conclude once again by taking this opportunity to express Kenya and our government's appreciation for the critical support that Hungary and your government has given since we established formal ties. Multilateralism is something that we in Kenya strongly believe in as being the most effective mode of international cooperation to address global challenges. Kenya and Hungary have continued to cooperate in various multilateral issues, both at regional and international levels. And we underscore the fact that we really appreciated the support extended by Hungary during the elections for the non-permanent seat at the UN Security Council for the 2021-2022 period. And we look forward to cooperating together with you in this particular area and supporting each other as we vie for various positions in global bodies. Want to emphasize, and it indeed has been brought to my attention, that Our two missions in New York have worked very closely together, especially in the development of the SDGs. Ambassador Macharia, our permanent secretary, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who was the ambassador, worked very closely, as you were mentioning to me, with your ambassador, who is currently seeking the position of President of the Security of the UN General Assembly. So Macharia, you need to ensure you work well and make sure your friend gets the seat. Yeah? That's the position, yeah. With regard to the East African community and EU cooperation, we underscore that Kenya and Hungary are also connected through cooperation with the European Union. Hungary is an important member, and we request you to lend greater support through the European Union programs and humanitarian and political and policy dialogue to strengthen this partnership between the EU and the East African community, emphasizing the need for stronger trade and investment cooperation, which I believe will be the defining pillar of not only our bilateral but also our regional ties in the days and years ahead. So we also seek your support as Hungary to have the economic partnership agreement between the East African community and the European Union concluded and signed at the earliest opportunity with a view to opening up greater trade and economic opportunities for our two countries and our two regions. Let me conclude once again by taking this opportunity to express Kenya and our government's appreciation for the critical support that Hungary and your government has given since we established formal ties. It is a great pleasure and honor to have you and the First Lady, as well as members of your delegation, and we hope that you will enjoy your stay in Kenya, and that your stay in Kenya will also greatly boost the ties between our two countries. But we also hope that the few days that you have agreed to extend your stay to visit the Masai Mara will also ensure that more Hungarian tourists will follow your path and come and enjoy the beauty and splendor of Kenya's landscape and wildlife, as well as the very warm and welcoming hospitality of our people. Mr. President, welcome and feel very much at home amongst your brothers and sisters here in Kenya. Welcome. It's important to point out that notwithstanding that our region is currently facing many peace and security challenges that have attracted global attention, particularly armed conflict in Somalia, in South Sudan, and Ethiopia, as well as the political instability in Sudan. All these have serious implications on the peace and security situation of our region. And it is our position that armed conflict and climate change and environmental degradation, political and economic crisis continues to force people to flee their countries and seek refuge, thus making our region unfortunately home to the largest number of refugees and internally displaced persons. And here Kenya takes the brunt of this, and we look forward to cooperating with you as we try to manage this particular situation. We take our role as an anchor state in this region and also as a guarantor of regional peace and security. And we will continue to leverage the experience that we have gained as peace mediators and guarantors of peace processes to advance an agenda of sustainable regional peace and security in the Horn of Africa and beyond, And here, again, we seek the global community's support in our peace efforts through the multilateral fora, including the European Union, especially in the European Union support for AMISOM post-2021. In the case of Ethiopia, Kenya also joins calls for national dialogue and meaningful improvement in humanitarian access to all areas affected by the ongoing conflict. And we look forward to working again together with the international community to help our brothers and sisters in Ethiopia find a peaceful resolution to their current crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, our collaboration with Hungary is anchored on trade, investment, and development. And it is within this progressive cooperation framework that Kenya and Hungary look forward to growing our trade and investment, especially during this period as we recover from the disruption occasioned by COVID-19. Kenya is particularly keen on creating more collaborations between our vibrant private sector and their Hungarian counterparts as an avenue of fully exploiting the immense potential for trade and investment that exists between Nairobi and Budapest. I would also like to once again acknowledge the huge threat that is posed by climate change to the survival of mankind. And this has given rise through various green initiatives for our country to become a continental leader in climate action. We have invested significantly in biodiversity, conservation, green manufacturing, housing and transport, as well as other sectors of our growing economy. And indeed, we do look towards deepening our collaboration in these areas with Hungary. Indeed, Your Excellency, as we discussed in our bilateral meetings, it is our desire to have a greater presence in Central and Eastern Europe, and I'm glad to announce today that Kenya is ready to establish a diplomatic mission in Budapest at the earliest opportunity. This visit has given the two of us an opportunity to renew and strengthen the long-standing bilateral relations between Kenya and Hungary, a relationship that was established when Hungary became the sixth nation to establish a diplomatic mission in Kenya shortly after our independence in 1964. So for the last 5 decades, Kenya and Hungary have collaborated in several sectors, most notably in trade development, health, agriculture, as well as education and training, where many hundreds of Kenyans have trained in Hungary on Hungarian government scholarships, and these Kenyans continue to contribute to our country's socio-economic transformation. During our meeting, the President informed us that the Hungarian government scholarships that have been given to Kenyan students annually will be increased from the current 100 to 200 opportunities. And we thank you, Mr. President, and your administration for this very kind gesture that will not only help strengthen our people-to-people collaboration, but also enhance our two countries' cooperation within the wider EU-Kenya partnership. We also had an opportunity to touch on regional peace and security, and I did inform the President that regional peace and security is at the top of our foreign policy, and we will continue to be an anchor state and a guarantor of processes to end armed conflict and to attain political stability within our region and the wider Horn of Africa. We therefore call on the international community and Hungary to continue to partner with us through various multilateral platforms in efforts to find sustainable solutions to peace and security and the challenges that face our region.
Egy olyan ország vendégei vagyunk néhány napig, ahol az elmúlt 70 évben a függetlenné válás óta 9-szeresére nőtt a népesség.
We are being hosted in a country where the population has increased 9-fold since its independence 70 years ago. Where you have seen a spectacular rise in the quality of life and in the strengthening of the middle classes. And we are being hosted by a country which has for long time now here in East Africa become a hub for tourism, for trade, for finance. And if we look at the demographics and the standard of living, then we have every reason to want to strengthen our cooperation, because if we look at the most important problem, it is going to be to provide best quality food in best quantities for an ever-growing number of population. I believe that in a country where 40% of the population, but 70% of the rural population are still making a living from farming, it is of utmost importance that they have access to the best possible quality of technologies and practices. There is a plan in Kenya in order to provide for this increased food supply needs to reclaim more than 1 million hectares of arable land in Kenya. You want to increase your capacities in animal husbandry in order to provide for your needs here in Kenya and for exports. And this is perhaps the reason why we, during our meetings with the President, had quite detailed discussions on the possibility of cooperation, to which we are both open in terms of plant cultivation, plant production, animal husbandry, and food processing, food production. During the Hungarian program of Hungary Helps, we have concluded 5 successful projects of assistance, and we plan there are 6 others in pipeline. We are offering our assistance to help train young Kenyans in professions that later they will be able to put to good use in the interest of the Kenyan economy. Kenyans not only need, however, only tradesmen and well-skilled workers. Your society, your people also need well-trained graduates, intellectuals. This provides the means of living for 50,000 people in Kenya and is of course substantially expanding its export capacities. As a result of this, we have decided last year to double the number of scholarships offered under the Stipendium Hungaricum, Hungarian government scholarship program for Kenyan students. I sincerely hope that by the time these young people graduate in Hungary, you will have implemented, Mr. President, all those different projects that we discussed, so that these young Kenyan graduates can return to this country and participate in the successful operation thereafter.
Usihangaike hii Januari. Optiven tumekushort. Wema Gardens Narumoru is your perfect place for a hidden home, a cottage, a holiday home, or the best inheritance for your children. Buy a 50 by 100 plot of land for only 399,000 Kenya shillings. What's more, Lipa 350k and get an instant shopping voucher worth 10k. Call us on 0090 300 300 or visit our website www.optiven.co.ke.